So if you want your podcast to make you money, you need to make sure it's working on actually both ends.
This is The Briefcase from Sutherland, Weston Marketing Communications. Quick conversations from everyday observations, delivering practical marketing ideas you can carry with you.
I'm Elizabeth Sutherland, President and CEO of Sutherland Weston.
I am stoked that we have a bunch of podcasts now that we're involved with.
Yeah,
and I
me too.
Wonder, how do we know when we're hitting the mark?
Oh, that's actually a really good question. And it's an interesting one because I talked with an agency owner that's been involved in the podcast business for years as we started to ramp up our podcast division. And I learned something really, really important from him. Stephen shared that if a business owner is going to invest their time and their effort into producing a podcast, it better be for the right reasons. And that's typically not ego-driven. It can soon become obvious that it's a lot of work for what may not be very much return.
Well, I wonder how many podcasts are out there now that are just ego experiments, not in a bad way, but an ego experiment for someone.
Right. Because the truth is a podcast can be a really powerful marketing tool, or it can just be a pretty expensive hobby. And the difference is how you approach it and how you structure it so that it is actually making you the kinds of returns that you're looking for.
If I'm driving to Portland, I know I'm getting there because my signs will tell me I've hit Newport, I've hit Waterville, I've hit Augusta, I've hit Freeport. Then you make me pull over to shop.
Yes.
But gauging the success of your podcast, there need to be signs, checkpoints.
Yeah. First, you need to start by defining what making money means to you. For some, it's direct revenue like sponsorships, ads, or subscriptions.
Within the podcast itself.
Yeah. But for most businesses, it's indirect. It means more leads, stronger customer relationships, higher visibility, better recruiting. All of those things can really matter depending on where your business is at this point in time. Here are some checkpoints that I like to look to and that I share with business owners when they're considering adding a podcast to their marketing mix.
Okay.
The first is, are you reaching the right audience? Do you look at who's listening? Is it your ideal customer or influencer network? Or is it just for entertainment because your friends and buddies are paying attention, which is great for your ego, but not so much for your ROI? The second checkpoint is to make sure you're using the content in more than one way. So a podcast is great in that it's very listenable, but it's also great because you can reuse that content in multiple ways. You can put clips on your social media. You can put quotes in your newsletter. You can turn episodes into blog posts that are repurposed and add value and visibility in other channels. And that's how you can make the most of something you already have. The third thing is to make sure that you're actually tracking results. Every podcast should tie to something measurable. Website visits, consultation requests, even a spike in email signups. If you're not tracking how your podcast is doing, then you have no proof of the value.
So, earning revenue, checkpoints. What else might I be missing?
The often missed piece that's really critical is that you need a bridge between your podcast and your sales funnel. So that might be a free download that you mention at the end of a podcast, a listener-only offer, if that's the kind of business you have, or it might even be just a call to connect on LinkedIn. But without that bridge, your audience just listens. They won't convert. So if you want your podcast to make you money, you need to make sure it's working on actually both ends, strategically aligned on the front end and measurably tied to your business on the back end. Otherwise, you're just sort of broadcasting into the void, and your accountant is not going to love it.
You have been listening to The Briefcase from Sutherland Weston Marketing Communications. Got a question for the Sutherland Weston team? Email us at sutherlandweston.com.